Alright boys, just picked up the Slant 6 here. Power pack out of, I don't know, combine or some kind of farm equipment here. And Danny also threw in a little belt drive hydraulic pump. I'm going to try to use this to run my carriage back and forth. So, another project. See if we got this thing running. Sat for quite a while. I see it's missing one spark plug, so that's not too reassuring, but I got it for scrap price, so we'll hope for the best. Apparently, I never did any research myself, but I was told by somebody that researched it that these Slant 6 power packs like this particular series has 140 horsepower. I don't know if that's true, if it has that much, but apparently it's 140 horse. Right? It's got the rad, and I'm not sure what kind of output system it's got on it there, but anyways, we're gonna make her work. Before I forget, poor old Joe from Joe's Premium Firewood, his YouTube channel he had, it got hacked by scammers and he lost it. So he's pretty distraught about that, so he's just asking for support and people to help him out. So if anyone watches this, head over to Joe's Premium Firewood too. He's got a new channel. And poor fella, he's, you know, he makes entertaining videos. He sells firewood, is what he does. And he's using this, like he makes a pretty humble living. He doesn't make a whole lot of money off of his firewood his firewood business. He's just a good guy that makes a humble, honest living. So he's using this YouTube channel as part of his business. And yeah, he got scammed, he got hacked, he lost his channel, and now he's trying to rebuild things. So yeah, anyone who sees this, go check out Joe's Firewood. I think it's Joe's Premium Firewood, or Joe's Firewood Videos, but type it in, it'll pop right up. Poor old Joe, so yeah, check him out for sure. Well, I got this in the deal with the engine for little or nothing, but it's out of a pull-behind combine. So it's a belt drive hydraulic pump, but it's got this main, your pressure line, and it's got this little priority line. So I don't know, I don't think you can cap this off. I don't know if you could just tee it into another system to run a second function, or if I'm able to tee this just into this line, just tee it in together, if that'll work. So if anyone knows about that, you can let me know. Because I'm doing away with the friction drive for the carriage feed, and I want to run it hydraulic. I already have a hydraulic motor for it. I got a couple of them. I actually gave them to Haley as gifts, but I'm stealing one back. I got them for nothing. So yeah, I want to belt drive this off of the engine. And for now, it's just going to be one hydraulic motor for the feed. But eventually, there's going to be a hydraulic sorting station at the other end of the mill. But that'll probably be next year. So I just want to get this hooked up just to run a hydraulic motor back and forth. So if anyone knows about these, it's off a pull-behind combine. So that's called a priority line, I guess. And there's your main line. So if anyone knows if we can just tee this in or block it off or whatever we can do with that, yeah, your help with that would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Well, I know it's dark in here, but I'm leaving that shop door shut because it's nice and cool in here and it's hot out there. So I got this engine unloaded, started tearing into it, and it was solid. Not really seized, that's a pretty strong word. It was stuck. So I had some can of penetrating oil and sprayed the cylinders full of that, and then I had some kind of diesel fuel conditioner I found, and I dumped that in the cylinder. So I filled the cylinders right up, let it sit overnight, came back the next evening, and put a pipe wrench on it. It was stuck one way, the other way it started turning a bit, worked it back and forth, and she freed up. So now the engine's turning over on the starter, and then while I was there, I pulled the plug out of the bowl on the carburetor and got it turning over, and we're getting clean fuel up to the carburetor now. So then I was looking, and see, this was sold as a non-running parts engine when I bought it. So I bought it for like scrap price. So, but everything looks good on it. I don't know. So this here is a resistor, I guess. I don't know much about these Dodge engines, but so this is your electronic ignition here, and that's a resistor. So I guess I needed a coil for this, and it was a bit of a hassle trying to find a coil, but I got one, because you have to run a coil that's for use with an external resistor. The average coil you buy is for use without an external resistor. So I guess it's a Dodge thing. So there's a resistor, electronic ignition, distributor. So I got a coil, some wires, and I really hate electronic stuff, and haven't really screwed with these kinds of things too much. So I'm more of a dirt bike snowmobile guy, not an engine guy. So let's yeah, just gonna start wiring stuff up and see if we can get this thing fired up today. See here, use with external resistor. That's the kicker right there. So yeah, no sense getting too into depth, but it was a bit of a runaround to try to find this, but I got it. All right, well, I think we're getting close to fire up here. I got all electronical stuff figured out, I'm pretty sure. And I was turning over and there's this gas running out of the carburetor. But she's pretty old and green looking there, so I'll get the carburetor cleaned up. I don't have any carb cleaner or anything with me today, so I'm just gonna get it scraped out and cleaned out the best I can and see if this thing will fire up. So it's got a Zenith carburetor on it here, just a pretty basic style carburetor. Pretty nerve-wracking. There's a big gasket that goes in between here, and it's just like a paper cardboard kind of gasket. And wow, hopefully it seals again. I kind of had to take it apart to get this tube out. If it leaks, I'm kind of screwed. I don't know where the heck I'd get a gasket for that, especially on a Sunday and a long weekend. So yeah, everything's starting to look pretty good. I'll just kind of spray some penetrating oil through these holes and kind of clean stuff up. I run a tip cleaner through this and got this cleaned up. Get her back together. We've got a dog freaking out in the background, but there we go. Okay, so the carb's clean. It's pumping gas like crazy. We're getting fresh gas. It's just set up through there. Oh, I fell down. As far as I know, all the electrical's figured out. The drive shaft is just willy-nilly hanging there, so I'm going to have to rig up a little steady bearing for that. But there's no reason why it's not going to fire up. Let's find out. I bet you that's the culprit right there, down at the bottom of the fuel bowl. At first I thought it was just kind of some kind of adjustment screw when I first took it apart, but it's a jet and it's plug solid. There's a little port system in the bottom of the fuel bowl that's all clogged. I bet you that's it. I bet you if I get that all cleaned up, this thing's going to run. See, it went down. The bottom of this fuel bowl there's a jet and there's a little system. I'm going to clean all that out. First day I worked on this, I brought it in, unloaded it off the truck, checked a few things out, and the engine was seized solid, or it was stuck from setting. Spark plugs are all rusty, one was wet. So So I pulled the spark plugs, dumped a bunch, well, sprayed a bunch of penetrating oil on the cylinders. Then I found some kind of diesel fuel conditioner, lubrication stuff. Filled the cylinders with that, let it set overnight, came back the next day, got it turned over on a wrench. Haley decided it was a good idea to dump a bunch of black oil down the cylinder, so we did that. Let her set. Came back the next day, and it had no coil on it when I bought it. So I didn't know anything about these Dodge systems, but so it was a bit of a runaround getting a coil. This coil, it says it's for use with an external resistor. So a normal coil has a resistor in it. So you can just go straight from battery power to the coil. But this one here, everything needs to run through that rectangular white box right there. That's your resistor. So everything's got to go in through that and through the coil. So you have a starting power. That just goes straight off your solenoid for your starter. So that's direct power just for starting only. So as soon as you let go of your starter switch, then you're running on this, and that's resistor power. And so when I was trying to get it, I got it to get far, but it seemed weak, and I just couldn't get it to run. So I grabbed the coil off the forklift here, and then I ran it direct to the battery. And then I found out, even if, like on a toggle switch, and I found out, even if you're doing that, you still got to use the ground that goes to your ignition module. So in order to complete the circuit here, even if you're not using this brown wire from your resistor for power, it still needs to be hooked up to complete that ground circuit for your electronic ignition module. So that's stuff I never knew anything about. So it was a bit of a learning curve to get my head wrapped around all this, because this was just, there was no coil on it, and it was just a mess of wires. And there was light wires and everything else. So I started pulling up wiring diagrams. I unwrapped all the coding and all the tape of every wire in this whole thing. Pulled out all the wires for lights and all the irrelevant sensor wires and stuff. Got all those out of my way. Went through every wire. Got every wire accounted for. Got everything hooked up. The one part I was nervous about, this blue wire, this is your power wire that powers the bottom of this resistor box for your coil. But it actually goes to the alternator. It's this wire here in the alternator. So I was nervous about putting power to the alternator like that because I just wasn't sure. But that seems to be the way it is, and it's working. So the starter was dragging real bad, and I was trying to get it running. It would crank and crank, and at one point in time the starter just seized solid. So I got a new starter. It was only $70 for a new starter. So a new starter, new battery, new coil. Finally got the carb figured out. Alternator's hooked up. There's the governor. And man, what a fog of friggin' all this stuff here. This whatever dirt stuff. Just a fog of that came out of the exhaust when she started. Like just full pipe, just pow. But it runs perfect now. You just touch the key and she runs. So there, I can start getting I'm going to build a frame underneath this and lift it up off the ground, probably about a foot. And then I'm going to start getting my pulley drive and stuff set up. I still don't have everything figured out, but I have enough for a start. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to have to put the hood back on eventually, get a muffler for it, get an air filter for it, change the oil, change the coolant, get her all buttoned up and ready to go. And then I can ship her out to the farm, and we can start working on the rest of the mill. So I think I'm going to head out to the farm later today. Once I get this up on the frame and to a better point, I'm going to head out to the farm, check out a few things, measure a few things, and start planning the drive system. I might have to get one shaft machine this week. So yeah, back to work tomorrow. So today I'm going to get this kind of on a steel frame and get my drive started, run out to the farm, check a few things out, and then throughout the week I'll try to get some stuff together, and hopefully next weekend we're starting to work on the getting this hooked up for the mill. So right on, man, exciting stuff. Alright, so before I unload, I just want to show you this. See the steel on my roof there? It's a little bit of a headache rack I'd built. Usually when I'm just working around the city I take this off. But when I'm hauling steel, I put that on. And then, see up in the front, between the compressor and the bottles, is just a bit of a rack there. And yeah, I haul lots of steel on this. This is 6 20-foot lengths of 6-inch channel right up on top here, and you wouldn't even know it. So it's pretty handy as heck. And yeah, you can load this and unload this with a loader. Right, just you got to be careful with the loader. With just a head, right? You get your fork just above the cab, and you get a fork back here somewhere. And yeah, it loads with a loader and full 20-foot lengths. No problemo. So this is going to be about 6 lengths for now. So this is going to be the frame for the engine and all the frame for all the drive shafts and everything. And then it's going to be legs for the mill and stuff. I'm probably going to buy more later. That's my start. And another thing I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this thing has a hydraulic cooler on it. Right, with the fittings there. And Haley's got all the flares and benders and everything to make hydraulic tubes. So I'm going to be able to use this hydraulic cooler as well in my hydraulic system, so it's perfect. It's pretty well a perfect system. It's 135 horse, I think, is what this is rated at. But also that that mill's got a gigantic, huge, big, heavy flywheel on it, so that's going to help out a lot too. I think it's a 42-inch blade. I never measured it, but I think it's going to run it just fine, to tell you the truth. It's a good place to start anyways. I paid scrap price for this thing, so it's worth it. The Dodge Slant 6. Yeah, so I built this channel frame here just to get it up off the ground. I was going to start building more stuff on the drive, but I don't have a solid plan planned out here. So now I'm going to drive to the shop, not to the shop, but to the farm. That's an hour and a half from here. Look at what parts I got with the 2 mills, figure out a plan, unload that steel, then drive an hour home, and that'll be the weekend. But right now I gotta pack up all my tools and get out of here. Yeah, so this is what I got for now. There'll be more braces and cross members and shafts and bearings. Right, there's gonna be a whole drive setup coming off of this side, and this is going to get welded to the steel frame of the head of the mill, right? So there you go, guys. And yeah, thank you all for watching. I think this is going to be a pretty exciting build series. Next weekend, I'm not sure if I'm working or not. No idea. I'll find out when that time comes. The weekend after that, I'm on holidays. And my holidays consist of a motorcycle trip. And I'm taking a motorcycle that's all tore apart in my garage. So yeah, at some point in time, I'm going to have to find a day to get that together. And throughout the week, I want to get this service, oil change, coolant change, get a muffler on it, get an air filter, get the hood put back all on, get a nice little dashboard built for it. Yeah, so there's always lots to do, so right on, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.